Like it or lump it, Donald is coming to town. And I, for one, will be out to welcome him on the 13th of July. He's the democratically elected head of a state of a country which is supposedly our closest ally. But the same old faces are up in arms because something they don't like is going to happen. Why do these people never give him praise for his actions? For instance, closing down Kim Jong-un's cretinous behaviour without a shot fired. He also supported us in our elected choice to leave the EU. Donald, if you're watching me, old China plate, firstly, let me apologise for the behaviour of the Lord Mayor of this town and his cronies. They're not representative of anyone who truly cares about his country. Secondly...
Hello.
Oh, my God, let me welcome you. Let me welcome you to the UK. And I hope you leave here feeling that we are as close an ally as we ever have been. And if you fancy a pie and mash or a quick cup of Rosie Lee, pop over and see me in the East End. I'll look after you, son.
You know what, Phil? The clashes are on more levels than I could imagine. Really?
I will give £100 to a charity of your choice.
I'll give more than £100 if you see a wear that on camera.
You know that, you know that.
Yeah, Phil. I mean, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Listen, we are at a moment in Britain, right? We've got Brexit, which I think you support, right?
I support leaving the EU, yeah, 100%,
okay.
yeah.
We are about to redefine our place in the world, what we stand for as a nation. What
and we're alienating the one person who's always been by our side. We're alienating the one...
who stands for everything we are against. Misogyny, racism, lewdness.
No.
Denigrating
You're reading
the
them all wrong.
office on
You're
which
reading
he
them all wrong.
stands.
Honestly,
I'm
going
to let you hear, and I fully endorse and agree with what Liberal Democrat Deputy Leader Jo Swinson says about this.
This is a man who has bragged about sexually assaulting women, mocked people with disabilities, demonises entire religions, and I think that that is very dangerous. Now, of course, the government has to engage with them, but I think it's appropriate that British people say this is not somebody who stands for values that are values that we share. You know, I think he is an anathema to British values of tolerance and respect for others.
And can I add to that this time last year, when 7 people were dead and 48 injured in a terror attack on London, what did Donald Trump do? First of all, he retweeted something from a far right-wing website using it for his political agenda on immigration in the US. And then he attacked our mayor, who was in the middle of dealing with a terrorist crisis.
He is still...
for no reason. How is that someone we can welcome and honour in our city?
Like him or not like him, which you obviously don't, he is still a democratically elected head of state. You know, and if we can welcome people over here like Jerry Adams, OK, and have him in the white in number 10.
Well, that wasn't.
And if we, you know, I think even Idi Amin paid a visit at one stage. You know what I mean? And he got a seat in front of the.
We've had the Saudis, and I disagree with that too.
Look, just let it be what it is, you know? We've got to welcome him. We do a tremendous amount of stuff with the states, you know, whether it be our defence and all this other stuff that we're involved with them, OK? It's like, I'll tell you what it's like, right? It's like you got your best mate is coming around your house, but you don't like his brother, all right? So he's going to come round anyway, but his brother has to come because his mother said he's got to come.
His brother's not coming.
Just don't let him float the toys.
You're not
if you don't like him, do you know what I mean?
We're being very, very precious now about Trump. Just look at what Macron did last week. I can't imagine for a nanosecond that Macron does not detest Trump. But what he did was he went over there, he held his hand, he air-kissed him, and why did he do all of that?
Kissed him, never mind.
He did it. He did kiss him. He did it to make France great again, because he knows he can't make France great if he doesn't have Trump on side. And we have to... He was pragmatic, and that's what we have to be. We have to be pragmatic. We don't like the way he treats women. We don't like the tweets he sent. We don't like his principles or his morals. But you know what?
Trying to do something about it.
Do you like Macron? Do you think what Carol's saying? Do you agree with...
I was disappointed by Macron's lack of principle when it comes to running to embrace Trump. I was disappointed by that. You know what? Trump is not going to be there forever, and when he's gone, the politicians
Can I just say...
to embrace him are going to have to live with the fact that
I'd like to make
Let me show you another clip from Richard. Yeah. Just quickly, let's bung this on.
I'll tell you one thing, we're not playing games, and I remember, you know, it was very rough 3-4 months ago. That's very nice, thank you.
OK, so there's people in Michigan, OK, and the leader of the South Korea, OK, calling for him to get a Nobel Peace Prize on behalf of his efforts in somewhere else.
Do you think he should get a Nobel Peace Prize?
Yes.
Phil?
Can I just
you know
say
what? You
something?
lot have actually
Absolutely.
lost.
He's
Who was nominated?
Guys,
Hitler, Stalin for
can I
Nobel
say
Peace
something?
Prize.
I rest my
Not
case.
so unusual.
Guys, so I am somebody, I don't know if you have been, I imagine you may have, but I'll ask you, have you ever been on an anti-Trump protest in London?
No.
So I have. When he wanted to float the Muslim ban, I attended the protest outside Number 10 and protested because I felt I need to travel to America. I'm married to an American, I've got family in America, and my son was born in America, and I was quite upset with the language he used, and I'm glad it was repealed. But I would not protest him coming to this country. I was protesting a specific piece of law he wanted to bring in. Hold on, let me tell you why.
I want to ask you a question.
Because I think the difference with politics, and it's what Nick said to you about that's politics when speaking about Macron, and you may have heard this before, sometimes nice people make terrible leaders and sometimes horrible people make OK leaders. And in the case of Trump, I think we've got the latter. We've got a terrible person who's actually, as a leader, managed to demonstrate, at least with Korea, for example, that he's done more to make peace and which you may not support, I did support, the surgical and casualty-less surgical strikes on Syria to take out to degrade their chemical capacities. It's more than Obama did in both countries. Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing for Middle East peace. So all I want to say, in conclusion, and we did, and I was critical because Obama didn't deserve that. And all I want to say in conclusion is that here we have the pragmatic point, that we've got a leader that we may not like, that we have to have a relationship with. And I think that, the distinction between someone being a nice person and someone being a leader, A, that you have to work with, and B, that actually gets stuff done sometimes. Macron was probably thinking that, and if I were, frankly, a Macron in Britain, I'd probably do the same thing. You know,
it's interesting.
It's politics.
It's interesting, imagine that the people of France hate Trump every bit as much as lots of people in England hate Trump. And Macron, well, it was quite a brave thing he did because he had to tread a line of not being seen to be Trump's poodle, but actually to do what was best for his country. And that's what he did.
Macron was rushing in to supplant the special relationship Britain has with America, with which makes perfect sense.
I mean, Monsieur Macron, your darling, right? Just on a point of clarification, we need to say, Phil, of course, it's not the Lord Mayor who's been difficult, it's the elected Mayor of London. Just so we get that, it's a bit unfair to the guy who follows Dick Whittington to be sitting there thinking he's in trouble. Yes, this darling pin-up of the left, Emmanuel Macron, who's done all he's done with Donald Trump. Meanwhile, they've had the worst riots in Paris for 50 years.
You know what?
If he'd go home, he might be able to sort something out.
No, Nick, he's doing a Thatcher in the Union. That's
cheerleader.
Right, here we go.
I'm not a Macron cheerleader.
We have the Chinese president here.
Yes, exactly.
We have the Chinese president here, who, by the way, I say quite right. We rolled out the red carpet, the baked bean, who for our great majesty. I know her as Her Majesty.
All the bells and whistles.
You know her as the baked bean. I'm just helping some of the viewers. Who the hell's the baked bean? Her Majesty the Queen. Is there anybody you would welcome? Because you don't. Clearly, you wouldn't want the Chinese president. You don't want the American.
I'm not naive, Nick. I know we have to have a relationship with America. The question is, how far do we go in saying we embrace you? Well, it's interesting that we've downgraded it from an official.
That's next year.
It's not a state visit.
It's been postponed. I mean, do you think that was the right thing to do? Because I feel like this is a bit of a botch job. We've said, you know what, we don't want to give you the full works because you're such a problem, but we need to do business with you, so come. But at the same time, you know, that could backfire because 1.5 million signed a petition against him coming. There will be people on the streets. And, you know, whether it's going to ultimately do good for our relationship, it might not.
This country prosperous. You know, the thing is, I think that all the thing about Trump, it's all caught up in this, like, media bubble. You know, the media here and in America, they don't get Trump's attraction. We scream that he's not presidential. That's exactly what the American people who voted. Can I just finish? That's exactly what the American people who voted for him wanted. And it's like, you know, they wanted a shake-up in politics, and they rolled a grenade down the table in the last election, and Trump was the grenade.
So in answer to the question you asked me a while ago, I don't think as many people will protest as they would have done last time.
Provocative, straight talking,